Let us pray. Almighty God, we ask for your blessing and wisdom upon this Parliament. Direct and prosper our proceedings to the peace and welfare of the people of Solomon Islands. We ask this in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen.
Parliament resumes.
Presentation of papers and reports. The following paper has been tabled by the Chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee. The draft statutes of the Pacific Interparliamentary Assembly, PIPA, National Parliament Paper number 14 of 2025. Statement by Minister.
Thank you, honourable members. The Minister for Mines, Energy and Rural Electrification wishes to make a statement pursuant to, I think, Standing Order 20, Understanding Order 24. The statement on the progress of the Tina hydropower project, the government's response to the 33 bauxite shipments from Renal Island, and the state of the Gold Ridge mining project. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to make a brief statement regarding the three important issues. This minister's statement, Mr. Speaker, addresses these three critical national matters under my portfolio following concerns raised in this Honourable House, and I think it's important, Mr. Speaker, that make this update not only for this Honourable House but also for the people of this nation to be aware of some of these very important matters which contributes directly to development of this country, and namely the Athena hydropower development project, the 33 shipments from Renal Island, and the state of the Gold Ridge mining. I will be brief, Mr. Speaker. Firstly, Mr. Speaker, with regards to the Athena hydropower project, as we all know, it is an important transformative national energy initiative for the country, and to outline the recent financial developments, the implementation progresses, and the future outlook of this country, I would like to begin by stating that the Cabinet was in September of 2024. Before I continue, I would like to also thank my predecessor for his leadership and in overseeing these three important matters. In September 2024, the Cabinet was asked to direct the Ministry, together with the Ministry of Finance, to mobilize additional funding to address the cost of the escalations and implementation delays affecting the Tina hydropower project. The Cabinet responded positively by October of the same year, and MOF, together with the Ministry, has formally engaged the project financiers with a request for additional support. Speaker, the Tina hydro project is Solomon Islands' first large-scale renewable energy project implemented under a public-private partnership arrangement. It represents more than just an infrastructure. It marks a national turning point towards energy sovereignty, climate responsibility, and sustainable economic growth. This is a flagship project, Mr. Speaker, and it is the backbone of our renewable energy roadmap, with a 15 megawatts capacity contributing to 1/3 of our national renewable energy target by 2023. The project's successful completion will set a benchmark in the Pacific for effective PPP delivery, complex project management, and inclusive community benefits. Share the project progress and achievements by far, as I have mentioned briefly earlier on. The road access is now 88% of the road works are completed, earthworks are completed. With the dam site, 96% of the river diversion blocks is completed. The intake gate excavation is completed. The batching plant, the machine which is required for all compacted concrete is already delivered and is now being assembled. Coffer Dam construction will begin in December and the main dam construction will begin in February of next year. For the powerhouse, excavation is complete. The foundation work is ongoing and construction commence in late this year, the last quarter of this year. For the tunnel portal, as I've already mentioned earlier, 34 meters have been excavated and the tunnel boring machine has been delivered in April of this year and will be transported to the site this month. And boring starts in November of 2025. Third shaft, out of the 31 meters required for the completion of the shaft, 19 meters have been excavated. And the commercial date, Mr. Speaker, remains on schedule for February 2028. As we know, Mr. Speaker, this important transformative project will reduce our diesel imports by 18 million liters per year, saving approximately $140 million SBD annually. It will deliver clean, reliable, and affordable electricity, displacing 50,000 tons of our carbon dioxide emissions annually. It is expected to meet up to 70% of Honduras' electricity demand by 2028, and it offers a lower tariff than the current diesel generation. The current diesel generation is around 32 kilowatts per hour USD. With the Tina Hydro's completion, we are targeting 0.196 kilowatts per hour under the revised financing arrangements. And the last span of the infrastructure, Mr. Speaker, is 80 to 100 years lifespan. Also, in general, it improves our energy access, strengthens economic resilience, and directly supports our health, education, and job creation. Mr. Speaker, with regards to the additional financing that I mentioned, funds have been secured as of June of this year, and we are in target for the loan-to-grant ratio of 70 to 30. Additional funding has been secured from World Bank, IDA, $25 million USD, ADB, USD 25 million, DFAT, 4.5 million grant, which is for the road diversion and for the project office funding, and also APIP, Trust Fund, 4 million grant, and negotiations are ongoing with GCF and EDCF to meet the balance, which is around 19.42 million. The tariff scenario, Mr. Speaker, with the current loan-to-grant ratio, we are looking at achieving 0.196, which is the target, and it's the lowest in terms of the different scenarios that are available for us in terms of financing arrangements. In the broader energy spectrum, Mr. Speaker, the Tina Hydro project will go in line with the establishment of a national energy regulator. The Cabinet has already endorsed a national grid code, which is set to be gazetted, and then an ongoing review of the electricity tariff regulations 2021. And we are to develop a new energy act, an amendment of the outdated laws which are affecting our high tariff rates, and the formation of an energy advisory committee. These policies will ensure a resilient, affordable, equitable, and low-emission energy system. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to reiterate that the Tina Hydro Power Development Project is a generational investment. It will power our homes, hospitals, schools, and provide cleanly, reliable, and affordable energy for decades to come. In regards to the territory bauxite shipments, Mr. Speaker, as we all know, it is the royalties that are unpaid. All taxes have been paid, and the royalties total up to $8,564,558.62. The royalty sharing is that of $4.3 million for the Solomon Islands government, 3.4 for the landowners, and around 800,000 for the province. Mr. Speaker, the government has moved swiftly to address this unresolved issue arising from the export of the territory shipments from Reynolds and Bellon Island between 2017 to 2019. The non-payments have been raised in terms of royalties, and the allegations have also been raised in breach of licensing and official misconduct. And this has prompted the establishment of a commission of inquiry under the Commissions of Inquiry Act, Cap 5. And the Commission of Inquiry will be mandated to investigate the legality of all the territory shipments, identify companies involved, including APID and BMSI, ascertain the royalties, duties, and tax payments, and identify shortfalls, examine the conduct of government officials and regulators, and recommend actions including recovery, disciplinary steps, and legal reforms. The Commission of Inquiry will be empowered to summon witnesses, compel evidence, and engage technical and legal experts. It will deliver an interim report in 3 months and a final report within 6 months to be tabled to Parliament upon its formal establishment. In the meantime, the Ministry of Mines and the Ministry of Finance are undertaking a coordinated audit to establish the quantum of unpaid dues and prepare legal pathways for recovery. The government also commits to legal reform of exports permitting and royalty tracking mechanisms, institutional accountability for all involved in ministries and agencies, and community consultations to ensure landowners' rights are protected. The objectives are clear, Mr. Speaker, and that is to secure justice for Rainbow landowners and uphold the rule of law and reform governance for future mineral exports. Mr. Speaker, this is not just about looking back, it is about setting a standard moving forward. In regards to the Gold Ridge mining project, Mr. Speaker, yesterday we attended and witnessed the groundbreaking ceremony for the new processing site for the project. It is an important project, Mr. Speaker, and in response to concerns raised on this House regarding state of the affairs of the project, I would like to present these grounded facts based on the issues that have been raised, as well as the work of the Joint Task Force. On illegal mining, Mr. Speaker, the government is fully aware of the illegal mining which persists within the Gold Ridge mining lease area, and then this concern is both real and urgent. However, it must be clearly stated that security of a mining lease area is the legal responsibility of the mining leaseholder, in this case, Gold Ridge Mining Limited. This is an enshrined responsibility under the Mines and Minerals Act and affirmed by legal precedents. The company has a sole legal authority to enforce access controls and security operations. Nonetheless, the government is not turning a blind eye through the Joint Task Force co-chaired by the Minister of Mines and the Minister of Police for the strategic awareness program was undertaken in March 2025, collaborating with the GRML management. As the co-chair of the Gold Ridge Mining Limited Task Force, Mr. Speaker, I wish to also utilize this opportunity to clarify and reassure this Honourable House and the public that no lethal force was used by the Royal Solomon Islands Police Force during its recent operation at the Gold Ridge mining pits. Contrary to public misinformation, the RISRPF conducted the operation under strict protocols and with full professionalism, deploying only less lethal munitions to manage the situation. The devices used were as follows. One 9-bang distraction device used for auditory and visual deterrence. One foam button round, a non-penetrative impact round, and one thunder flash, employed for temporary crowd distraction and disorientation. I wish to reaffirm that no live rounds or lethal weapons were used, no bean-bag rounds were discharged, and no individuals were harmed due to the use of force. Honorable Speaker, the government fully supports the RSIPFs and the handling of their operation and demonstrates the conduct of a disciplined, rights-respecting and law-abiding force committed to upholding public safety and the rule of law. And I would like to state, Mr. Speaker, that as we all know, the illegal mining involves all Solomon Islanders that are there involving in the activity. So I would like to also extend this call to all of us in this house. If you misabi to want to blame me, there, please call them okay. No, go there, come out from there, and allow the ministry and relevant authorities to deal with this issue. The ministry appreciates concerns over GRM security performance, and the ministry recognizes that GRML must do more to enhance site security. However, we need to appreciate that challenges at the sites are structural, rooted in legacy grievances, and inadequate relocation and economic disparity among illegal miners. These are not issues that a single company can solve alone. On the influx of people and social disruption, Mr. Speaker, it is unprecedented and poses serious safety and operational risks. This influx is driven largely by delays in finalizing relocation arrangements, absence of sustainable livelihood alternatives, and lack of enforcement of existing mining laws. The government is acting decisively, and relocation disputes over Koku and Bubulake lands are being mediated through the Office of the Attorney General and the Commission of Lands with a recommendation to settle the claim out of court. Community infrastructure projects including clinics, water access and roadworks are being prioritized by the GRML and GRCLC with the refurbishment of properties expected to be completed by September of this year. On environmental concerns, Mr. Speaker, the Honourable House must be assured that environmental oversight is a statutory requirement and not an option. The Ministry of Mines and Ministry of Environment are jointly conducting an independent environmental assessment of GRML operations, focusing on spillover effects from the tailing dam, on water quality, and water and land rehabilitation compliance. On shareholding benefits and GCIL performance, Mr. Speaker, it is deeply concerning that local shareholders have not received timely dividends or clear share certificates from Gold Use Community Investment Limited. And the task force has made the following directives. The GCIL must convene its annual general meeting to disclose shareholder structure and dividend policy. The GRML must clarify the 10% local shareholding arrangement and legally issue share certificates to GRCLC and recognized representative bodies, and all future appointments of GCIL and GRCLC boards must strictly adhere to the Constitution and ensure transparency and community trust. On the mining review, Mr. Speaker, a comprehensive review process is currently being undertaken with a legal expert consultant engaged to spearhead the review, supported by Chief Mines Advisor in the Ministry. The review is being aligned with the provisions of the new bill, which will be shortly tabled in Parliament, and consultations are being expanded to ensure full participation by landowning groups, especially tribal trustees. We are committed to concluding this review by the fourth quarter of this year with a revised agreement that reflects current realities, safeguards national interests, and ensures community benefits. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, finally, Support for licensing and monitoring and royalties. Mr. Speaker, this is critical to enable, as the enabler, the Ministry's ongoing reforms in the licensing, compliance and community benefits distribution is vital to the successful implementation of the Ministry's functions, roles and responsibilities. And this aligns directly with our national interest in ensuring transparency, scientific rigor and local benefit in all extractive operations. The government recognizes the gravity of issues raised and does not shy away from its responsibilities. We are acting through the Joint Task Force, the newly established Cabinet Subcommittee, community dialogues, cross-agency enforcements, and structured implementation plans. Let us work together to ensure that Gold Ridge project is not a source of conflict, but a symbol of our national ability to manage our resources justly, responsibly, and sustainably. To conclude, Mr. Speaker, this ministerial statement reflects the government's coordinated, transparent, accountable approach to resource management and governance. Whether it is strengthening mining compliance at Gold Ridge, or delivering renewable energy to Tina Hydro, or seeking justice over the Rainbow Bauxite shipments, the government through my ministry remains committed to ensuring that our natural resources benefit our people today and for generations to come. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable members, pursuant to Standing Order 24.2, I will allow a few short questions on the statement we have just heard from the Minister. And please be reminded that debate is not permitted at these ministerial statements. Members may now have the floor. Thank you, Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Yeah, thank you, sir. If I heard the Minister correctly, trivial important issues, everyone, and in one statement, so let me a little bit be good if we took one at a time. But if I heard the Minister correctly, Longo, additional financing for Tina, was it the total $92 million additional funds to see it through to completion? For him, confirm, then I have a follow-up question to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Leader of Opposition, for that question. Is total of 75.32 million additional required funds. Where is? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Leader.
Thank you, sir. I was, when I saw the statement by the Minister, I was hoping it would go the other way, by reducing cost for this whole project. But we're increasing it. As the Minister knows, sir, Gold Ridge is going to be also building a dam for 12 megawatts at $33 million. So the additional $70-some million is another two 12-megawatt dams. And that's additional to the outlays that have already been committed to Longotina. So it just, the very sincere no make sense for me. Whatever the justifications are, when you look at the overall picture, this project has become too expensive. So with the 70-odd million additional, have we taken total financing for Gold Ridge to how much total, of which how much na have we loan? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just before me make a comment on that one, me just like for clarify, the technology used to Gold Ridge for this wala dami hem different little bit. We have our can 12 megabytes one, 12 kilowatts. It's mainly diverting water, then using that one. But this one, low Tina Hydro, it's totally state-of-the-art technology. Where that's why it's quite costly. So with regards to the $75 million additional, the balance right now is 19.42, where we still need to secure them. 55.9 is already secured under the current arrangement. So from the total cost of 202 million, with the additional of $75 million required. It's around $80 million in total.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Leader.
Yeah, and portion loan, please.
Thank you. Current ratio of loan to grant is 70 to 30. We're still within the target where we like it. That is, if we that for 19.42 balance as it stands here, if we come low grant, then we go down to 60-40. At the moment, with all the funding that we secured, 60-40 loan to grant ratio. But if the balance of 19.42 when still stop there, if we negotiate and then come low grant, then we remain on 60-40, which is less than what we envisage, 70-30 loan to grant ratio. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Leader.
Thank you. Just for Minister refreshing House Lambert, and because any PPP or some talent and PPP or get the private component lahem, private enterprise component lahem, how much now get put them in financing? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Leader of Opposition, and then before Auke Lang for question. What the finances flow mainly World Bank, ADB, DFAT, and APIP, GCF, EDCF, and KEXIM. Have now the main finances, and the World Bank through IDA under additional financing arrangements here as of June of this year. I may give him now a total of 25 million USD, but 25% of it, sorry, 50% of it him grant, 12.5 him grant, 12.5 him loan. And then ADB, 25 million, it's a loan arrangement which is currently under review. DFAT, Australia, may give him 4.5 million grant. APIP Trust Fund, I may give him USD 1.4 million grant. That one, yeah, I think now the main finances we have come in under this additional financing arrangement. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Leader.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So the consortium whereby build and then operate Korea Water or Naranem Lahem, how much now all kita putumin? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you. Ya Korean Wataya, hemna kaman subsidiary blade Tina Hydro Limited ya THL, where kata na develop ablo di solar project ya. M11 million concessional at an interest rate of 0.018%.
Thank you. I think, sorry, Honourable MP for Central Onion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and we'd like to thank him, Minister too, for the statement that he has presented to Parliament. I think that's a very excellent update that you give, and also the difference normal to follow hydro scheme we are referring to. Tina Hydro and Dam, this one will go retain run of the river. So that's why I think I'm possibly cheap a little bit. But I'm not sure about the power outcome that the goal reach one by presenting. Just on the financing side, no more. The initial financing package that was presented in the 2025 budget year, and around 60-40 loan to grant composition, 40% on loan and 60% on loan and 40% on the grant. So on that loan component, me interest to question the leader I'm raising. What is the loan component that is your private sector have been putting into this overall 60% here.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, come back again with the question.
Sure, Mr. Speaker, on that 60% loan component, how much is the loan commitment that is, or loan equity, debt equity component belongs to the private sector in this whole financing arrangement on the loan component, and whether that has exposed the government to some kind of a guarantee arrangement or not? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Three scenarios now, three alternatives we were presented with by Ms. Fumekem Choice. We were working against the 70-30 loan to grant target. We are cabinet him looking for it so that we can have the tariffs rate here start lower and reduced. So out of these three scenarios here, the scenario which was selected, him involved for him declining ADB loan in securing grants from GCF and concessional loans from EDCF, which results in this 0.196 kilowatts tariff rate here. So with them arrangements that are now in place, the ratio of 60-40, we have including 12.5 million loan from IDA, World Bank, which also comes another part of them, comes as grant, and the $25 million loan from ADB, which is currently under review, and 19.42, the balance, when currently being negotiated with MGCF and the EDCF committee, balance for immediately to complete that additional financing requirements. So we are hoping that if all this is negotiated, if the balance is given as grant, then 60-40 ratio may remain low, and it will, in effect, further lower them down now the tariffs. But if it may stay low, if it is income or same grant, sorry, loan, 19.40 million, then we will hit the target of 70-30 loan to grant ratio, which to buy him come back now 0.196 kilowatts per hour tariffs. That's what I can say in regard to that. But for the finance, if him sabi, so I don't in terms of the financing arrangements, then him sabi also. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable MP for Central Honia.
So this time there are two scenarios that you are sort of stating lawyer, 70-30. The original one that you will present him law 2025 was 60-40, which will in some ways present him now a much lower tariff. Now that I'm increased to 70-30, it means that the financing cost him increase, and therefore ultimately by him reflecting a higher tariff low end. Is that the understanding that you got, Minister? Thank you.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Chairman for Public Accounts Committee and MP for Central Honiara. The target way we got 70-30. That's the initial. Where Cabinet him said him target to that one. With the financing arrangement where him stop, the ratio him level go up to 78-22. But then with the additional financing where him try for increasing grant ratio, without the balance of 19.42, we are at the ratio of 60-40. So we are trying to negotiate him now, 19.42 million when balance for complete him now additional financing requirement here. If that one him come same grant, then we will remain at 60-40. But if him come same loan, we will buy him still go up and hit him sit down now 70-30 grant to loan ratio, which by him still put him tariff rate by me at 0.196. We have now what by IMI targeting. and it will be reduction from the current 0.32 kilowatts per hour USD wave sidang lens time, from 0.32 kilowatts per hour to 0.196. That's the target. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. We'll ask the question.
Yeah, last one, Mr. Speaker. Lukosem, in terms of the risk factors going forward, completion of the project, I think I can foresee that financing arrangement will still be a real factor. Just looking at the numbers that Minister talked about here, now he's talking about 25 million US. 2025, 60 million, 65 million. Another 10 million US more and on low this year. But I think the Minister is handling very well, and the Minister of Finance. Minister, do you foresee other factors more that Babayan might affect him the completion of this project here, apart from the financing, difficulties in reconciling how Babayan move forward with it? 65, now 75, the composition of loans and all this. What other factors more you foresee as possible factors that Babayan delay in this project? Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. I'll have the Minister of Finance to supplement the comments.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Minister for Mines, and also Chairman of Public Accounts Committee for those discussion and earlier on as well. I think negotiation on this additional financing may be a very tough negotiation, we should say. In fact, the initial stage when this cost escalation due to COVID-19, we were going to go for full grant here, because like additional cost which were going affecting tariff also. But as you know, very tough. And I think the minimum that our negotiating team that them go for is to secure, the minimum level of grant component that I'm still securing in a reduction of tariff also. And this negotiation has been going on, I think, since after COVID-19, which was maybe 22, 23, and Kakam also. So it's a very tough negotiation, this one, and that's the best that we could arrive at also. Although even Barawa fight hard to make sure that even receiving more grant component on it also. I think that's all Ms. Abe contribute long there. In terms of loan component here, there is a split also between loan financing and also equity too here. There is an argument where, well, if so, they're not shareholder, increasing my equity participation, look at that. But the issue then is that that source of capital is a little bit expensive more. Expected internal rate of return, look at that, is much higher than also what you mean securing loan financing. So we will then keeping that one at a minimum, and then if loan financing, we will look at loan from a multilateral and bilateral institution rather than for sourcing from a equity source also. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we'll dispose of that statement. Sorry, I'll take one more comment before I close again.
Thank you, Speaker, for indulgence for you. As later alluded to, three very important projects under one statement. So focus on Tina Noma. Me leave it like for focusing goal reach, Mr. Speaker. First, disaster where Minister Hemi statement Hemi became the disaster lo Tina where hem increasing disaster lo COVID na hem ko imtala continue for find him financing problems. So till wait him that one timely, make him to achieve him because natural disaster, him have come. Disaster law rempel me happy lo justice where responsible government. Yeah, give him justice here look at the hurry up. But I don't know we wait no more sem because disaster in me cause him look at the low go reach Mr. Speaker. Disaster law there, illegal miners yeah. And first time I meet to him law house. O kataman where Ministerial to him whole country Solomon Islands now. O kata illegal miners law there. Im tell with him the rest of the Solomon Islands leave him no more land on a stop and okata no more to be seen as the problem or the illegal miners. If him tell with him every Solomon Islander where okata go lote him tell law other provinces block him okata or deal with him okata and leave him land on a meeting say by him simple number so that they are stakeholders. Let them take the responsibility and whatever. What's your take on that, Minister? Thank you too much, Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and yes, thank you, MP for Wasarare. For the question is with regards to the risks where Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee talked about here, the delays was caused mainly by COVID and also fulfillment of these financial safeguards. Where I'm taking it a long time before you December go specific into some areas where very difficult for us to, but we were able to do that over time, and then we come up with this one. In terms of the natural disaster, that one was hard to imi barawa, but the cabinet has endorsed a cap, additional financing, that by him no go up beyond that one more, and that this has been informed to the official of Tawakamal that him the last one, even must complete him before the date we imi like him for him commission now. So that is well being well conveyed to them, that are fully aware of that one. And the work is progressing very well at this time. Hopefully by mid of next year, but by immediately, not 25% completion. I might go up 50 or 60 or 7 by the look of things. So I'm not that one. With regards to point raised by MP Blow, Westarare and Chairman Blow bills, yes, in terms of Sala issue law on top, saya minta finish immediate for waktu ke dalam lo illegal mining community consultation saya ongoing with them there with them planning there for deal with them this one but also have some me extend him na call lo everyone so people blame everyone na lo there he may also help out to call the people blame if some people blame lo there call them come out from there the government as well as but stakeholders are fully committed to ensure that this one will have no continue. We have to find ways in which this one will have no continue, and that is by addressing the root causes of these issues, where some of which have been highlighted. Also, issues by a comprehensive report will be tabled. Bapak yang tegan kamlo Parliament for informing minimal lo. I know that. Mitalang present him visual statement 3 for everyone at one time. Pabahem to time him no fit for him to talk about it in detail. So the comprehensive report will come about 3 matters so that him sabe time adequate time for him to discuss this in detail. Now, the purpose is just to briefly update and inform Parliament as well as people of Solomon Islands what na government will do the or something. Thank you.
Thank you, and with that comment. I think enough. Sorry.
Sir, no anything lo sa lot box idea tu ye. Mr. Aspolo.
I think the minister was making reference to there will be comprehensive reports on these respective issues that is presented.
Yes.
So maybe the time will come when.
Yeah, make a report addressing some questions. So
Minister, you make sure you address the concerns by the Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Longo side lo Tina Hydro, by you tell them come, perhaps Minister of Finance, time you may completely draw down, loans and not grants come, but especially lo side lo loans, by you may how close to the threshold lo debt to GDP ratio, make him giving me some picture. Cost go up here, make me worry. even if any different technology to what Goldridge is doing. What we're concerned about is the output, the electricity that comes out of it, and the longevity of that. In terms of illegal mining law, Goldridge, law lang mi check mo chief blumival, o no mono in man you me lo pirate lo de. But if any man lo lang lo de, Mr. Speaker, mo lo livalu, mo lugar livalu. But me tell him to go back home, go fishing now. But you must let us know. I think it can be useful if security bloggers spot more people from different places to let us know, to work with our community leaders to try and dissuade them from illegal activity, make them go home or come here or doing some other productive employment. With regards to the bauxite shipments, sir, Minister Hemise, taxes have already been paid, only royalties no more outstanding. So me like for survey, which taxes now were paid here, and what about duties? Were duties paid on the bauxites and any associated minerals that form part of those shipments? Thank you, sir.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, the opposition, and then for Akalang for that one, also for the call for in terms of the illegal mining. Thank you, Thomas. With regards to the shipments here, the total amount of dues here, mainly royalties no more, which means all other duties and tax and paid. But the Commission of Inquiry will also looking at this to see, to ascertain and identify shortfalls if there is any shortfalls law payments, the process of payments law, duties and taxes here. But with regards to the matter at hand, where we concern about 8.5 or 8.6 million, it's mainly everyone royalty no mana, Blo Gaman, Blo Province and Blo Lanonas. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And with that summary, I think questions for this particular statement is sufficient. And we will proceed to our next item of business.
Statement of private members' business for Friday, 15th August 2025. Restatement.
Thank you, Chairman of Parliament House Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Statement of private members' business for Friday, 15th August 2025. A further statement. Motions. Motion number 19 by the Chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee to move that the House resolves to authorize the Speaker of the National Parliament to be a signatory to the National Parliament Paper number 14, the Statutes of the the Pacific Interparliamentary Assembly, PIPA, as tabled.
Thank you. With that, let us move on to our next item of business.
Bills, Committee states, the National Building Standards Bill 2025.
Honourable members, the House will resolve into the Committee of the Whole House to continue consideration of the National Building Standards Bill 2025. Thank you, honourable members. We are now in the Committee of the Whole House, and we will start off the proceedings of the committee from where the committee left off yesterday. And I think the what we need to move on from here is the reference to and consideration of clause 20. And honourable members, the minister did move and has moved an amendment yesterday. And before I put a question, does any member wish to comment on that amendment? Thank you. If there is none, let me put the question. The question is that clause 20, subclause 2 is amended by substituting may on the request of an applicant for permission under with must in ensuring compliance of an applicant to the requirements of section 15 of. All those in favor, say aye. Those against, say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Clause 20, therefore, stands amended accordingly. And before I put a question in respect of clause 20, does any member wish to comment on the clause as amended? Thank you. If there is none, honourable members, I will put a question. The question is that clause 20 as amended stand part of the bill. Those in favour, say aye. Those against, say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Clause 20 as amended, therefore stand part of the bill. Clause 21, our next clause. There is an amendment proposed to this clause as appeared in the business paper number 52. And let me ask the Minister to move the amendment. Honourable Minister, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I move that clause 21 is amended at subclause 21, 1, substituting paragraph E to H with the following. E, the National Infrastructure Manager of Ministry responsible for health or their delegate. F, the Director of Environment Conservation Division of the Ministry responsible for environment and conservation or their delegate. G, the Director of Labour in the Ministry responsible for Labour or their delegate. H, representative from the Solomon Islands Chamber of Commerce and Industry. This amendment is in response to one of the recommendation by the Bills Legislative Committee to put a bit more technical people in the board, and that's why we have made these amendments. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable members, before I put a question, does any member wish to comment on this amendment? One at a time. Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, sir. Sir, again, we appreciate the Ministry's acceptance of this recommendation. Core to the competence of that authority is the technical competence of its composition. So I'm good to must look him. However, I think the Bills Committee was kind of hoping the competence in the technical areas to do with him the three core quality assurance issues where both deal with him, quality law materials, quality law engineering, integrity, structural buildings, and quality law workmanship. Those are three core issues whereby standards here, the building code itself must safeguard them. So, we can see infrastructure manager, below ministry, below health, okay, all right, but I'm not about to go into here expertise below it, perhaps with regards to health facilities and also, but I mean not really to do with the integrity of materials, design, structures, and workmanship. If we looked at environment, if we looked at Director of Labour, same considerations again, even representative from Chamber of Commerce. So I have not quite hitting the thrust of that recommendation. But in any case, a policy choice has been made. In terms of 21(1)G, the new G here, Director of Labour, is that a reference to Commissioner of Labour, or is this a new position within Labour Division or Commerce Ministry? Just a clarification there. And then law H, representative from Solomons Chamber of Commerce. I'm just wondering, why do we even want them involved? If we wanted industry participation, perhaps it's better to have someone from the construction industry, generally, and then Minister Save appointing someone from that industry as opposed to Chamber of Commerce and to General Mona. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Leader of Opposition, for that question. Yes, so basically what this bill was proposed, aim is to have a representative from institutes or trade bodies to be, but problem is we don't have that yet. That's why in the interim we put this composition first time. These are more technical than permanent secretaries were first proposed there. So we put technical people in here. Now the reason why we've included the Solomons Chamber of Commerce is because they have a building and industry working group that comprises of contractors and engineers inside Nalo underneath the Solomons Chamber of Commerce, where a representative of them will be part of this board. So the bill initially designed or was drafted, they had a plan in mind with a body before Imigaren. It's called CBEBA. However, that body is no longer operational now. It was a built-in environment institute of, like, it covers all engineers, architects, that body. But however, along the years, after 30 years of constructing this bill, CBEBA is no longer operational now. So while we wait for the Institute of Architects, the Institute of Engineers to come about, that's why we have got this for composition. And once those bodies are developed, we will then bring them into this advisory board. And also want to note that the board does have powers also to create subcommittees which have more technical people or field where specific to fire, let's say fire, mechanical and sanitation. So these are the best we can do at the moment until we have developed institutes or we can create themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. In reference to the Minister, the Director of Labour under 21G, 21.1G.
Yes, so me consult with the PS with yes, there's the position there, there's a Director of Labour. That's why they've included in here.
Thank you, Honourable Leader.
Really, I've never heard of it. Commission of Labour now, you mean?
Oh.
Inside. But nobody will create him on one new position from MIT now, create him go for Ministry of Commerce. Oh, Minister of Commerce.
For Commerce.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I think it should be Commissioner of Labour. But within the Commission, there are directors also. So that one I immediately need to clear with it. But it reference to Commission of Labour or the director within the Labour Division.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Yes, so that for the director, we are making reference to all delegate. It says here, all delegate. So anyone who are delegate him come, that is a bit more technical, can sit on this board. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable MP for Small Malaysia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Me, this will director and this will something no good intention of policy for commissioner, for director. Intent of policy na important for input lawyer. Who know will intend him commissioner, we have now a little bit high technical man na or the director. It has to be director of different. Maybe minister, you have a correct me there. They are directors of certain areas, but this one I'm director along ministry responsible. So him also if commissioner, I think by me a little bit straight, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
I think the key word there, Chairman, is all delegate. And they, like, so whoever law under the commission that deem that have got the technical expertise of that, then they can delegate them to be on the board. We're trying to put like a limit him now or the man who busy too much, or permanent secretaries or commissioners to be on this board, but more technical people. So if there's someone within that, there's some directors within that commission that or looking that him deemed necessary or fit for him, not comes on board, then him not working come on board.
Thank you, Honourable MP for Small Malacca.
Thank you. Which means also, I think Commissioner now straight. Because Commissioner now heading this fella department here, himself give him whoever, if himself no sort of come. Anyway, him now policy direction, you may labor, I want him a director Noma or commissioner.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Member for Small Malita. The policy direction is that we want the director, not the commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Me sang talk more?
Yeah, now that you want to talk, you can talk.
Thank you for your sympathy with the member, Blow Small Malaita. I think I'm similar something too. This clause before that, subclause 21F. Subclause 21E. Perhaps. Me want to direct him question or AG, but maybe Minister himself tell him come no more. This sort of national infrastructure manager, whether this sort of position him inside law health, yeah, inside law act law health, yeah, for him specifying functions and all get qualification of this sort of person where me national infrastructure manager. So me want to say is such a position inside the relevant law where have no Ministerial health. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you. Yes, so the National Infrastructure Manager of the Ministry of Responsible for Health, him not a technical officer will look after every infrastructure of health. So he's similar role as a director. And this recommendation here come from the Ministry of Health that him not more suitable for this position. That's why we've included him here. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Honourable MP for Central Honiara.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, Tamil Luklo board here. You know, these are the competent authorities that lawyer by establishing. And Tamil Luklo, the composition lawyer, I'm still within the same circle, whereby if, say, for instance, the minister has a power to pick from, it will be either an officer blow or some or the members here, you know, so it will still be within the same circle, no more. So I think the point we lead our opposition and raising about boosting the technical competence for board or what entities that will be given the authority to be able to implement him or the critical functions. Lawyer, I think that is very important. We always worry about you may continue for come around law the same group of people here. Well, a group of people were all bodies that we should be possibly giving some eye or some focus law. No, you know, the academics, people who are teaching those disciplines here. Well, has this been somehow overlooked? They would play a very, very independent role for advising board and even ultimately the minister. Why aren't we picking them? I mean, we are still talking about the amendment law here. You spoke about, you know, some kind of a technical discipline, professional bodies that have been established in the past that somehow didn't hold. Institute of Engineers in Ovataya. Can we look at strengthening Mokota or give them a space for to come up again? Because they could be, the most independent choices that you may have pick from to save law the bodies like this. You must come back law the officers, yeah, what officers, yeah, man, network blow at law system, him there. I mean, no more, or some small thinking me looking here. We're still coming back to the same group of people, no more. So the prospect for a competent, independent advice should be given, to the minister, to be able to advise on this matter. Yeah, I think Vahemi para basically diminish no more or derail over time no more. I'm now England. Why is it that somehow you miss now the people in this discipline, the academics, the very independent people who are actually teaching these disciplines, make them we can have the the pathway in the space for this kind of teaching and going to Lord Higher Learning Institute. Thank you. What's your take on that, Minister?
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Member for Central Honia and the Chairman for the Public Sector Committee for raising very important points, just as the opposition leader has. And like I've mentioned in response to the opposition leader, yes, so the ideal is that we have these bodies represented from these technical bodies to sit in this board. However, we don't have those kind of bodies established yet in the country. In terms of teachers, basically, I think from someone who's come up from that industry, these are two different things, teaching it and actually practicing it. So that's why we feel like I'm not a man where hands-on, actually doing things at the monitoring infrastructures. The best we can pick out of the current pool now, in our views, in the ministry, I'm not just a group. But once there's an Institute of Architects, or once there's an Institute of Engineers, once there's an Institute of Building Contractors Association, we will definitely put into the composition of the board. However, we have to also bear in mind that this board can also, like me telling before, can create subcommittees that focus more on a specific area or field within the industry. So we are waiting for the group to establish themselves, and then we can put them on to this board. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Yeah, thank you, sir. This was a very good point raised by the Chairman of Public Accounts. Having academics, say, the head of School of Engineering, they now have a School of Engineering, senior, would be a very, very good pick indeed. Yes, they may be theoretical, but no underestimating of it. In the kinds of competencies we're looking for, that's the sort of person you need on there. So anyway, you've made a policy choice, but I think Ting Lohem, next time when you buttress the board, bring such a person in from Senior School of Engineering by Baravagudi. I just want to come back to the Director of Labour again. The assumption here is the Director of Labour or their delegate. That means him delegating someone lower than him. Him cannot delegate go up low, Commissioner of Labour or anyone higher. So me like Kamlu Minister of Commerce, how many directors are there under the Commissioner or Labour Division? And what now responsibilities will get? So we get a sense of whether they have the competence to match the competence required by the board. No good to me put name director no more assuming. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister for responsible for labour.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Leader. At the moment, at the apex of the labour structure, Commissioner at the top and then Deputy Commissioner. I'll check if there are directors or senior officials within the structure, and then I'll let you run now.
Thank you. Honourable Leader.
No indirect, Mr. Law Minister, Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner, then Chief. long-time structure now, law division. So no any director. Really, this should be the commission. I would urge the minister to remedy it now. Let me correct them. Let me put him a commissioner so we don't have any more issues afterwards. Because even, for example, Losidal occupational safety, law there, no indirect and that would be a key one.
So the issue here is that procedurally, and I think we have to carefully embrace this, because if we can, for purpose of ensuring that it appropriately reflects the current structure in the Labour Division, put it this, if the director and if there are directors, with the third part of the tier are the directors. Because immediately is the commissioner, the deputy commissioner, and below. So if there is a director, then it is the third position in the Labour Division, and whether or not reference to it under this law will address the issue in terms of the responsibility vested in the director for purposes of, especially to be part of this board. It's a very highly competent board, and we want to ensure that those of you in the board share the same almost thinking. Otherwise, we don't want to have board members who are subservient to other members of the board. Just a thought, if it's possible to further amend this now without notice. Thank you. Let me give it to the minister first.
Wait, let them go for. We've got the establishment here for 2025, and there is no director. Commissioner of Labour, Deputy Commissioner of Labour, the chief now. And go down. So if you talk about delegates more, we run into that problem. You try and explain it.
Thank you, Honourable Leader. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Leader of Opposition, for making those very important notes. Apologies, I was basing my answer on the advice I'm being given. However, I think it's important that we are willing to accept that we put the Commissioner of Labour or delegate. Thank you. If we could make those amendments.
So the Minister, I think you can propose an amendment to this to substitute the Director of Labour with the Commissioner of Labour. And then we voted on that will a further amendment to the current amendment that is proposed. Is that acceptable? Okay. So Minister will move an amendment to section 21(1)(g).
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sir, I move that in addition to the amendments made in clause 21, I would like to also include that in G, the Director of Labour be replaced with the Commissioner of Labour in the ministry responsible for labour or their delegates. Thank you.
I think it can be written narratively later, but we can vote on that, on the thinking that generally we substitute the Commissioner with the Director, for the Director, or delete the Director and in its stead insert the Commissioner under this. Those in favour say aye. Thank you. The amendment is therefore carried. So that's going to be captured in here. No further discussion on that. So we go straight on to the comment on the amendment as proposed earlier. Take into account the subsidiary or subsequent amendment to the amendment as proposed under 21(1)(g).
Mina G. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On this multiple amendment that you have just proposed, one follow me sitting around no more, and perhaps the minister can come up with the policy around that particular proposition. And now I, where the minister has that discretion to appoint a member by notice. What's the policy rationale behind having a minister to have a discretion on this very highly technical body? Is it something that, that has a very, very special significance to him, that, or is it something that, you may leave it for the minister to decide on it with a choice somewhere? What's the reason behind this one? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. There is no Honourable Minister.
Thank you. So the rationale behind that, or the policy is that, so that if, example, one for an institute or a body create first, but before setting a cabinet amendment, the minister can then appoint someone from that immediately without waiting for the parliament for amending. Or he may at the outset consider maybe the faculty of engineering or something for coming. Those are the rationales, the policy there. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Chairman of AAC.
Thank you, Chair. That was an absolutely excellent response from the Minister. But I'm still one no more. I think we need more of those independent technical based expertise to be able to serve in this board. The other one, we will come to Chamber of Commerce. Chamber of Commerce, it's a good thing. We all believe in the enterprising ability that the chamber by himself bring in into the bodies like this. But I think it would be more better if you may ask him now, the chamber, to make a choice of the particular field of experience that instead of him just opening him up or something, because you've just mentioned that there are members of the chamber from all the other discipline too, the engineering group, construction, over there. I think there needs to be some kind of a prescription law there to be able to direct in chamber for finding the right people for all of that. What's your thinking on that, Minister? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Member for Central Honiara and the Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee for raising a good point. Yes, so like you've correctly stated, the Chamber of Commerce has, the membership consists of a lot of businesses and different industries and disciplines. So that's why we've put here a representative. So they get to pick whoever in there, maybe an engineer, an architect who's a member of Chamber of Commerce to sit on this board. But in the interim, the Somali Chamber of Commerce, as I understand, has a working group where focused mainly on infrastructure and the building and construction industry. They have the building and construction industry working group. That's the name of the subcommittee. That's headed by engineers from Kremosenko, like big companies that are experienced in this field. Hence why we feel that it's fitting to have them, because they are closest to what we have of an established institute or a body based from the trades. So that's why we feel that it's important to have them in there. And of course, their board will nominate to us who know from Sudan. It's not the CEO or the executive, no, it's the board that will nominate their member to come based on their recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. I think with those comments, I will now put the question. The question is that clause 21, clause 21, clause 21. that I will put the question. The question is that clause 21 is amended at sub-clause 2, at sub-clause 21.1, substituting E to H with the following. E, the National Infrastructure Manager of the Ministry responsible for health or their delegate. F, the Director of the Environment Conservation Division in the Ministry responsible for Environment Conservation or their delegate. G, if the committee take cognizance of the fact that this provision was further amended by substituting Commissioner of Labour instead of Director as appear here. So that will be the basis for taking the vote, is based on that amendments, sub-amendment and amendment to the proposed amendment in 21G. And lastly, a representative from the H, a representative from the Solomon Islands Chamber of Commerce and Industry. All those in favor say aye. All those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Clause 21 as amended, therefore stands part of the bill. So I will put the question. Before I put the question on the clause as amended, and I think we have delved into the details and the nitty-gritties of what was envisaged to be the as proposed by the minister, and therefore this the vote now will be put on clause 21. Does any member wish to comment on the clause? This is a clause as amended. I will put a question. Yes.
Thank you, sir. The discussion first time were on the amendments, so we've now dealt with those. Now we come to the clause itself as amended. And so we come to A to D, yeah? 21.1 A to D. And then we really start to see, okay, so Director of Architecture and Building Services, Hemna by Chairman. Director of Civil Engineering, good maneuver, come Director of Housing, Lands. Director of Housing, I'm going to look at them house for rent here, for public service. I have no idea how to build them house, or gravel, or brick, or something, no idea. So I think that one, Minister, you will change first set of amendments by come after you will try them out. First one you will out in make him someone with the competence that the board needs. That person clearly is not the person with the kind of competence this board needs. And then the Chief Planner, Honiara City Council. Okay, for now, Honiara City is perhaps the largest built-up environment in the country. So for the time being, I'm all right. But also because of that, Chief Planner below Honiara City Council, by him, the board may have to be dealing with matters where this fellow officer and planning board below him and planning division below him are involved in. And I question whether this person really should be on the board itself, because the board, in terms of standard setting and quality assurance and compliance and enforcement, this board will be oversighting all the planning boards here. There now amendment me make a Planning and Development Act here as well. So there is some arm's length between the standard setting board and the planning boards and their planning capacities. So that's something to think about. But of course, if you include in Chief Planner Honiara City Council, what's the Gualcana? So Gualcana too, this time, Staka development, you can see normal Burns Creek boundary block town finish. Narsaitia, development go ahead narrow it and a lot of very or industrial kinds of development to go there. So again, those questions come to mind when you me doing the kind of selection. Me worry that because we're just looking for people to put on the board no more. We put manuals in, but we run the risk that it's probably not the best selections for the board itself. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Leader. Honourable Minister.
Thank you for those comments. Yes, the planning, the Honourable Planning City, the Honourable City Council, the planner, chief planner is in there. If including Blue Water Canal, then by Blue Maleta, Korosuma, every other province, like inside, then we have that risk. Let us trial this board out. It's not going to be perfect. We try it out first when the rubber hits the road dead, and then if we look at where there's gaps, we'll come back for those amendments. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Chairman of PAC, and
Thank you,
for
sir.
Central Honiara.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Chairman Blow, FRC, I'm reminding me too, and so Istarare, Tishala Chief Planner Blow, Honiara City Council. Is it a chief planner or chief fiscal planner? Would you mean, what's the position that is relevant to this particular function?
Sorry, what, can you please specify the...
You know, him are in siya, manya. Tijola 21(1)D. Is it a chief planner or the chief physical? What not call him? Chief fiscal planner. And if so, then perhaps I think we need him a little bit amendment. Thank you, God.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Member for Central Honiara and the Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee and your neighbour sitting next to you, Member for East Arara. Yes, sincere apologies. I think there's an error, mistake here. It's Chief Physical Planner. And I think we're happy to amend that to Chief Physical Planner and not just Chief Planner. Thank you, Central Honiara, for scrutinizing of the wording. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Sorry, you already acknowledged. Thank you, finish. Unless it's a new...
Yeah, but just to remind him, remember that, yeah, I'm acknowledging, but in case when the final draft bill come, then Manlo on top him sign him, chief planner. So it has to be corrected here. Loyana has to be corrected. This also. Can you, with your permission, allow me for him move in the necessary steps for him correcting that particular oversight or something like that?
That could have been appropriately accommodated if it was included in the first lot of amendments that we have disposed of. And the first sort of amendment which have disposed and amended, and the past was only from E to that. So that's different. It will have to be an amendment brought in under or tagged under section 21(1)E separately.
So, how will we rectify this? What's your solution to this? How can we cure this? Because you're absolutely correct. It should have come with the set of amendments that have been proposed initially, but this has just now been picked. So, what's your suggestion?
The discussions here is that we have disposed of the proposed amendment to section 21(1) pursuant to 21(1)E to H. That has been voted on. If other provisions under section 21(1), which you are now bringing up here, then of course it has to be brought again another amendment to section 21(1) with reference to D.
So, Chairman, you're absolutely correct. That's what we need to do. So, perhaps we have to suspend until afternoon so that they can make the amendment. Hey, you know where you come. But you still go ahead law Balkanilo there, no man. But I mean, that changes has to be made because I mean, obviously, this hasn't been picked. And
AG, if it's a typo, that can be corrected when the bill goes before after. But if it's a mistake, which would reflect that, it can be taken as a typo. There's no post as a chief planning officer for Honor City Council.
absolutely.
That's definitely
But you have just made a very substantial observation that we have already voted on the amendment. That should have come with those amendments that initially that we have voted on. So, you know.
It unfortunately it was not included in the initial proposed amendments which the minister moved and which we have taken a vote. The chair, the committee has taken a vote on and passed. But that amendment did not include any reference to.
So you make a well corrigenda no more. Where security maram. What do you think?
Honorable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, MP for Central Honyara and Chairman of PAC. Legislation Act, we him authorizing Attorney General for making more corrections, including more typos also. So I can do that later after you me passing. Then by order, I'll just do a correction later. The correction is also necessary normal because already House himself finished what na intention and what note him what na error here and mistake him happen. So it's a typo as Minister him alluded to earlier, and so I can do that according to powers under the Legislation Act 2023.
Thank you, Honorable Attorney General. Honorable.
I think that's the way to go. But next time, not doing more.
Thank you. And with those comments, honourable members, I will put a question. The question is that clause 21 as amended stand part of the bill. Those in favour, say aye. Those against, say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Clause 21 as amended, therefore stand part of the bill. Clause 22. Does any member wish to comment on this clause before I put a question? Clause 22. Thank you, Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Yes, sir. Law here, there was a recommendation by the Bills Committee, Law 1 here, 22.1, for having a minimum number of years in term, 3 years here, but this one no more than 5 years here. And then 2 reappointment here, unless 5 years elapse between the last appointment. Of course, this one him start SOE Act here, this kind of scheme, so that people are not on a particular board for too long. But here we're dealing with a board of competence, technical board with technical competence, yeah? And given at this stage limited human resource capacity, below me with the requisite experience that could be filling these important roles, the committee felt that there should not be an upper limit on the number of years or terms that members of the board can serve Lohem, and that him up to the minister. If it serve good, they should continue to be on the board. But if it not serve good, then ministers will replace him. That way you have balance of retaining good people. We've seen with the SOE Act and over boards here, by the time members learn their craft and get on top of it, but the number of years up, and then they have to move on, and so you have turnover of board members when they are just, competent enough for him. So it's something the committee looked at seriously. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Leader of Opposition, for raising a very valid point. Yes, I think there was a recommendation by the BLC for clause 22. However, it is, I would like to mention that for clause 22, basically for 21(1)(e and that appointment by minister, that one I'm limited time, but the other 9 members here and legislated, whoever comes in holds the roles. If contracts blotter lapse, then whoever comes in, that means over time no longer on the board. Whoever comes in as the new director or delegated position, him now sit down. It only applies for the one where the minister appoints. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Let me now put the question. The question is that clause 22 stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Against say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Clause 22 therefore stand part of the bill. Clause 23, any comments on that clause before I put the question? Clause 23. Okay, if there's none, I'm going to put the question, and the question is that clause 23 stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. Ayes have it. Clause 23 therefore stands part of the bill. Clause 24, any comments on that clause before I put the question? Okay, if there's none, I'm going to move the question. The question is that clause 24 stand part of the bill. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The next clause is clause 25. Any comments on that clause before I put the question? Clause 25. I see none. I will therefore put the question. The question is that clause 25 stand part of the bill. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Clause 25 therefore now stands part of the bill. Clause 26. Any comments on that clause before I put the question? I see. Sorry, Honourable Chairman of PAC and Member for Central Honiara.
But Chairman, there is also an amendment proposed there, so I think perhaps the... Oh, yeah? Is amended, you said. Is it? Is amended?
No.
No, okay. Say this whole idea of disclosure, declaration of, in this case here, the chairman will keep the, what do you mean? A register of disclosures made by all the members of the board. He's just one amongst all of them. This is where I spoke about the integrity and governance of the board here. What's the reason of having those in the same boat to keep the same disclosure? Or can't you go a little bit higher? That the register would have to be kept by the permanent secretary to that ministry. So that let me independent from those that are going to, because the chairman himself must make a disclosure. So in this case, where will the chairman make his disclosure to? To himself, I must say. So what you're thinking on that, Minister, and possibly AG? Holding of the depositories of the disclosures must be somewhere independent from those that are supposed or subject to that requirement of the law. So, what's your view on that? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Attorney General.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, MP for Central Honiara and Chairman of PAC for that question. Most of our legislations have common practice. Usually disclosure made to the head of the board, which is the chairperson, and he is the repository of those disclosures. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Attorney General. Just a question: were those officers that are covered who are under the Leadership Code Commissioner Declaration, can that also be made reference to in this, especially for public officers whose interest? I mean, there's already a mechanism you reporting that information can be sourced from the registration of interest under the.
Chair, you like me for join to support the point that you.
No, I'm just making that as an observation that there's a.
But that's exactly what I was going to say.
The Leadership Code Commission, where the reports of certain statutory officers are captured. So you can make reference to that instead of you reporting all over again. So make reference to what source is already existing under Leadership Code Commission.
90% of the members of the Child Advisory Board are all public officers here. All of them, except just one. Oh, well, two. The representative from the Chamber of Commerce and Kuya, the ones that is picked by the discretion of the minister. So it would have been logical for anyone to think that, those officers would make their declaration to the Leadership Code, because they are subject to the Leadership Code. What now? It will AG and Manlobia in Ministerial. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, MP for Central Nyara and Chairman of our Public Accounts Committee for that question. It's for different purposes, not for declarations or saving. The effect of the Leadership Code Commission is to deal with misconduct as it is, whereas this one is to deal with the decisions made by that board for a particular purpose. So although there are two different acts requiring let me say declarations, their forms are also different, the intent is different, and also rules governing that follow request and declaration are also different too, and also whoever would make them what declarations here. They are in terms of some definition law leader and law Leadership Code Commission. Excuse me. But inside law National Building Standards Bill, there are different purpose and requirement law why you may require initial disclosure. So there are different, you may say, different tools for different trades.
Thank you. Honorable Attorney General, Honorable Chairman of PAC and MP for Central Honiara.
I think maybe AG, you might be correct, but I think there are certain levels in the public service that are still subject to declarations under the Leadership Code. Mitwal Manlo was Arare, and it also declare the Leadership Code before 2 years. I am Secretary of Law. If I one foreign investment board, me director law on top, me all declare. I think they might have amended it, so you too, yeah, Chair, you did declare to you, Amazon. And most positions that are now prescribed law, yeah, they're all, time you look law, they're on director, yeah, they would be in the same level. I think law might change, but they are going to be declaring any financial interest to you. That is in here, which is the same requirement under the Leadership Code Act here, Amazon. So, I don't know, AG reconciling the differing views that you have now informed this House on. Same thing normal. Suppose you say that these are different body altogether, and then it has to have a different depository. Okay, emotion. But I would think that to ensure the integrity and the governance of the authority, it's a very, very important body. Yeah, but Minister. Yeah, no more. So I think it should be independent from the chairman. It should be independent from the chairman because it's all oriented within a ministry. It's a body that we have designed within the ministry. They play a critical role inside the ministry. They are not a statutory body outside. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you again, MP for Central Nyara. You are correct. To value requiring each of the specific questions for making water disclosures. As I stated earlier, the Leadership Code Commission's declaration, as opposed to this one, under this act is for when we come to a meeting, that particular matter that is being discussed, it is incumbent upon that fellow person who is the member of the board for making that fellow disclosure of conflict of interest, saying that the matter we are dealing with now, I have a financial interest in that particular dealing. Okay. Whereas the Leadership Code Commission, one you at the time you make him that one declaration, which is I think every 2 years we need to update it. So once you make that declaration, it's at the time you make him what assets you got him, what interest you got him. And then after 2 years, if it changes within the 2 years, it's incumbent upon you to also update your records. Whereas the national building standards, you come in, if we have contract come in, building for, let's say, building one for law, then you say, oh, this all man we have building, we have cousin, or some relationship where then you must declare him at that time, as opposed to you make him prior and every 2 years you have to update him. This one him before meeting him start, you got anything, you make him now, and you make it to the chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Attorney General. With those comments, I will now put a question. Sorry, Honorable Leader of Opposition.
Just on the last comment, below Honorable Attorney General in response, so time you will work in standard agenda below this board, put that one in each meeting, say okay, minutes of last meeting, then matters arising, and then declaration of interest for agenda block today. Okay, embark as a matter of course. Every meeting, no one got to make excuse. Oh, me forget, no more no agenda. You no declare him, you meaning for hide him, no more. So, Minister Ho, encourage him, Chairman and Secretary for keep him over there, also standard requirements, law agenda, law meetings, blocked. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.
Leader of Opposition, comments are noted. Thank you.
Thank you. With that response, let me now put the question. The question is at clause 26. Stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Against say no. I think the ayes have it. Ayes have it. Clause 27. Any comments on that clause before I put the question? Thank you. There are no comments. Let me put a question, and the question is that the MP for Israel.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick, perhaps AGs will help out, Nama. In terms of our not standing orders, general orders. What is it now in terms of, we see that the board is going to be 99%, I think, public servants, no mind. What now? Current practice in terms of public servants, current other interests outside of their roles and functions in terms of business interests and also. Is there a hard and fast rule law there, or they are allowed to, but conditions apply? Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, MP, for for that question. I think in terms of general orders and Leadership Code Commission, no more is that you always have to make your declarations but to the Leadership Code Commission, but every 2 years they just update him as to what your interests are. When it also just for practical application, common law, national building standards, because it's the positions that we are tagging the memberships to. So if that person who is in that position has a substantial, let's say, interest in him seeing that, or no, then delegate back or in. So that's why you have a delegate to assist you in those kind of situations too. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Honourable Attorney General. Any further comments on that clause? Honourable MP for West Arara.
Thank you, Chairman. Me like for thank him, Minister and the government. Lotisol Bilia, I mean, him take me for you meet to waka kutfalamwa. The settlements raised by Central Honiara and others here, him point to a situation where you may encounter this for the time of country blaming. Now in this chamber, we have young leaders, and in terms must start him. We must acknowledge that things have no go straight or him should be, and me para encourage Minister Yan take it on and start him for the other colleagues blame me, make him mutual change him or perception, even misconceptions as well. But staka true no more, true. Because I was passing here, but I mean called acting him different no more. So I really encourage all young parliamentarians now. Yep. Legislation take him and him to change him country blame to love. Past him could no more time blame to a speaker and Central Honiara and others here. Baraba Kutia country blame to me look him respect law there, honor law there, and the technical people blame to or the current positions block it. That one him levity loose. So me happy to miss. Thank you, Minister, and me encouraging me take it on. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Honourable MP for West Arare. I think those comments are...
Chairman.
Sorry, yeah.
Thank you.
Honourable Chairman of PAC.
Yeah, and I really appreciate the sentiments when expressed by the Chairman of the Legal Bills and Legislation Committee. Law Part 3 number belong Section 27, Clause 27, Part 3, where members may not, or the law allow them not to disclose any interest, if it is an interest that they share commonly. Is this something to do with interest that they may held in trust, or that they represent in trust, or what sort of interest now? And then how does it tie up to the roles under the trusteeship law? Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Maybe if MP for Senator repeating back more questions.
Clause 27, subsection 3, or close to 27.3, where members may not disclose the interest below it is, and the situation there is that if that interest is shared in common with other groups or the other class of people, so which kind of interest now this one? Is it an interest that they share because that particular member and maybe a representative of that particular group, or holding it in trust, or what is it? Share. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, MP for Central for that question. Maybe for an answer, maybe like your example, let's say for example, Central Honiara Company Limited him apply for building wahala building inside the constituency, then everyone inside there, what are residents law, voters law, Central Honiara too. So there are an interest shared common amongst them. No? So they'll be benefiting from it because it's voters, MP, awesome. So that's awesome. That kind of a illustration. Trust would also be one. If awesome, let's say, landowners law, let's say Goldridge or Garem building, what not come for apply for building, then member in there is a member of the tribe. So it's shared in community, everyone. It's not, yes, you have an interest, but it's an interest that is shared generally amongst everyone of the same class. So the same class is landowners, you say. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Honourable Attorney General. Honourable Leader of Opposition.
So the other side to that equation is, if, say, for instance, there are matters of compliance with standards, and an entire group or class of persons are involved in that, would it therefore not be an encumbrance on the person sitting on the board? In such a situation, common sense would be we would want that person to say, oh yeah, I am part of this, and we are today considering this non-compliance issue and possible enforcement, and therefore I should recuse myself or get the delegate to attend also. In that kind of situation, this subclause 3, I'm also a little bit too relaxed about it, yeah, too lenient here. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Leader of the Official Opposition, for that question. In your declaration, so the first default one is you must. These are parties, you may. So it's, I think you are correct. It's him giving discretionary member for say, if I'm looking at him about substantial interest in affecting him, or you'd like to say, although I am part of the tribe, you know, become parliament, but for me, any, you may say, substantial direct interest, I don't have that. So, but my interest is that me, part of that fellow tribe, or that fellow constituency, or voter, or cooperative society where him come apply for that one. If you don't make it, you're not penalized for it. But it's always good, you must make him that declaration. But you come back to the default one, is if it's regarded as something that him, you may say him substantial or him directly affecting the matter that is being determined upon, then it is incumbent upon that director or member to make that disclosure. But just stating it, no. So that, but if you come for this one, second party, you know, make him, you're not penalized for it. So you're correct, it does give a bit leniency on that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Attorney General. Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Thank you. That is of concern, especially because membership law board, I mean majority ex officio members by virtue of their appointments to the offices. Say, for example, say Goldridge landowners, yeah? Goldridge Landowners Trust, or make a lot of money from the royalties and shares flow, and we want them, of course, and so they do. They invest in a lot of property, high rises, and also. But it just so happens that one of the persons or two of the persons listed here, ex officio, they share in common those interests. But those high-rise investments have compliance issues. The board, minister, director, and board for deal with him. Under current wording, such a conflicted member need not even disclose that because I'm sharing that interest in common because I'm by beneficiary too or trust account here, trust board law over landowners. At maximum, I'm only need for, we will say may, for disclose him and then no further, nothing furthermore on it. And he can still participate fully in the discussions around whatever that non-compliance issue is. It would seem to me that would be a little bit more counterproductive to what this bill is trying to achieve. I think there must be a provision or there for opt-out or for compelling that member to actually appoint a delegate. I'm not on discretion below that member now for appointing, but in such a situation, definitely he must out now. Delegate will not come by operation of law. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Leader of the Official Opposition, for that question. I think maybe by me choosing a better illustration for him illustrating more. For example, let's say in the House, the Parliament come, we have to vote on a tax bill. We are all interested persons because we are all paying taxes. But that does not mean we have to disclose our interest because it's all shared in common. So what things are same. So I would think of in terms of that one. It's the perceived inside law. If everyone inside law they share the same interest, then that's when that kicks in. Like for example, this is a tax example me give you. But if maybe inside law, so it's a legislation that him deal with him. Let's say one particular area, for example. Let's say then the MPs of Wakana, so this one. At least it's state him also. It's not a good example, but I'm trying to just illustrate it practical sense. So, if you don't come back in this sense, it also comes back to that inside the group here, there will be others in there that will take a vote on that. So maybe one person here no more might be Mr. Hem no garam that fella no make that interest, declare him. But the others in there would also be the person making the persons who are making that decision. So it'll be a collective decision. Then when it comes to implementation, chief building planner too, by him go out and do water, inspector, sorry. And not by go out and do water implementing water provisions. But coming back to the point where he make him in terms of the delegate, it's Bishop Kamo position, yeah? So the person where him incumbent is the person to make that delegation because he is the holder of that power. For Narwan exception, he has to, or her, delegate him go that other person for him go. So it's basically was an interpretation actually mean him putting that it's incumbent upon the person holding that power to delegate it to the next person. But I take your point that you say him should be explicit to you inside the law act. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Attorney General. That Honorable MP for East Harare.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Attorney General. I think in terms of conflict of interest, I think the discussions have been good, but it's quite narrow in terms of its application in terms of the reading, and I think it should be very specific to conflicts. But I think maybe for something for later on, maybe amendments, looking at things like how Anti-Corruption Act here, and provisions there that comes into helping good governance, good practices of this. That doesn't necessarily mean conflict of interest, but other corrupt practices. Chair, some of us have been in similar kind of commissions before, where the evening before, you may meet here. So got a 3-ton truck by arrive now. Arrive Kamala House one night, and by I got to say, now, you remember me, I remember you. So that kind of disclosure too, that we were doing to each other in certain commissions that I was privileged enough to be in, and it was recorded by the chair too. Because what you would find, chair, is that once you disclose that after prayer, blue me, but you look at everyone running table, disclose him saying something too. So 3-ton truck, arrival house block too. But these are the things that maybe going forward, because this is such a big issue in terms of the building industry. It's a lot of money involved. Just an idea that maybe it can also, beyond the conflict of interest, put in provisions that also help perhaps mitigate corrupt practices using anti-corruption laws where I think already been passed by the House a few houses ago. I think those kind of things, just a suggestion, so that it's a bit more broader than, of course, it's good to have a targeted conflict of interest, but then something to encourage anti-corruption measures also in such bodies. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable MP for Are. Noted, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Member for East Arai and Chairman for the Foreign Relations Committee. Points noted, and we'll look through as we go along and we'll amend.
Thank you. And with those, I'll now put the question. The question is at clause 27. Stand part of the bill. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. Ayes have it. Clause 27. Therefore, now stand part of the bill. Clause 28. Honourable members, there is an amendment proposed to this clause as appeared on the business paper number 52. Let me ask the Minister to move the amendment. Minister, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sir, I move that clause 28 is amended as follows. A, at subclause 4, substitute 4 members with 5 members. And B, at subclause 11, substitute presiding members at a meeting with secretary appointed under section 21, subsection 5. These amendments are based on the recommendation by the BLC to increase the quorum of the members from 4 to 5. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Any comments on those on that amendment as proposed? Thank you. If there is none, let me now put the question. The question is that clause 28 is amended as follows. A, at subclause 4, substitute 4 members with 5 members. And B, at subclause 11, substitute presiding member at a meeting with secretary appointed under section 21(5). Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Clause 28 therefore stand part of the bill. Before I put a question in respect of clause 28, does any member wish to comment on that clause as amended? Thank you. I will now put the question. The question is that clause 28 as amended stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Clause 28 as amended therefore stand part of the bill. Clause 29, honourable members, there is an amendment also proposed here to this clause as appeared in the business paper number 52. Let me ask the Minister to move that amendment again. Mr. Honourable Minister, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I move that clause 29(1)A is amended. A, by substituting subcommittees or with technical working groups to advise on technical areas, and B, the term subcommittees, wherever it appears in the bill, is substituted with technical working groups, and subcommittee is substituted with technical working groups. This is based on the recommendation of the BLC as well, so that we can have a bit more technical specific groups that advise on specific technical matters to the board. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable members, before I put the question, does any member wish to comment on this amendment? I see none. Let me now put the question. The question is that clause 29(1)A is amended. A, by substituting subcommittees or with technical working groups to advise on the technical areas, and B, the term subcommittees, wherever it appears in the bill, is substituted with technical working groups, and subcommittee is substituted with technical working group. All those in favor, say aye. Those against, say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Clause 29, therefore, stands amended accordingly. Before I put a question in respect of clause 29 as amended, any member wish to comment on that on the clause as amended? If there is none, I'm going to put a question. The question is that clause 29 as amended stand part of the bill. Those in favor, say aye.
Chairman.
Those against, say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Clause 29 as amended, therefore, stands part of the bill. Clause 30, does any member wish to comment on this clause before I put a question? I see none. I will therefore put a question, and the question is that clause 30 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, say aye. Those against, say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Clause 30, therefore, stand part of the bill. Clause 31, any comments on that clause? If there is none, I'm going to put a question. The question is that clause 31 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, say aye. Those against, say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Clause 31, therefore, stand part of the bill. Clause 32, honourable members, there is an amendment proposed to this clause as appeared in business paper number 52, and I ask the Minister to move the amendment. Please, Minister.
Thank you, Chairman. Sir, I move that clause 32 is amended by A, inserting a new clause, 32 subsection 3H, as follows. H, provide for technical working groups and advisors, functions, procedures, terms of appointment, reporting, criteria, timelines, and other relevant matters. Or B, shifting a current paragraph H and I as paragraph I and J. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. With the background to the amendment, also in the report of the Bills Committee.
Yes, there was just a gap in here that we needed to create a bit more this technical working groups, hence why we've inserted that into the bill. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable members, before I put the question, does any member wish to comment on this amendment? Thank you, Honourable MP for Small Malaita.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On that proposed amendment by the Minister, Lomo, subclause 32H. Last line, him redeem, you know me, when it's this fellow word, any him before other, or no any word, any inside law, this new amendment.
Honourable Minister. Thank you. Honourable Minister.
Yes, so, and any other relevant matters, it is part of the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. And with that, let me now put the question. The question is that clause 32 is amended by C inserting a new clause 32.3 H as follows. H, provide for the technical working groups and advisors, functions, procedures, terms of appointment, reporting criteria, timelines, and any other relevant matters, or D, shifting the current paragraphs H and I as paragraphs I and J. All those in favor say aye. Against say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Clause 32, therefore, stands amended accordingly. And before I put a question in respect of clause 32, does any member wish to comment on that clause as amended? I see none. I will therefore, Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Lomo 32 3J. You may amend them and move on board J. So regulations and give him power law minister to create offences and impose a maximum penalty not exceeding 5,000 penalty units or 6 months imprisonment. This is a recent feature in our legislations where regulations are creating offences and imposing a maximum penalty. Me a little bit worried about this one. I would prefer that offences are created by Parliament and maximum penalties are set by Parliament. Effectively, what this particular proposal is asking Parliament to do is to delegate that power to one person. On the one hand, it makes sense. Let me give him flexibility where offences, Parliament not taking time passing lawyer, but it may happen. So ministers are by regulation say, oh, that one is offence here. But then there is a limit. They cannot put a maximum penalty where it may be greater than 5,000 units or 6 months imprisonment. So on that side of it, I'm good, flexibility. But on the other side of it, in terms of, one person having that kind of power is of some concern to me. So I don't know how we get around that, but perhaps just an explanation why in this matter you have opted for this particular proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Leader of the Official Opposition, for that question. I think in terms of having regulations prescribing penalties, fees, and so it's allowed. It's, there's no impediment in doing that. You see in the last part, which is limiting no more problem minister for prescribing Kasem 5,000 penalty units. So the minister may prescribe it. So him not say you can do it. I'll start again. It gives that flexibility, so the minister can say, okay, for the start, he say for setting Makasem 500,000 penalty units. Then if time goes on, then it becomes like amending regulation for increasing penalty. So go Kasem 1,000, but then final one them say Kasem no more 5,000 penalty units. He can't go over that. So that limits his power in terms of regulation. So if him go and setting one penalty unit in Selo, they went 10,000 under regulation, by heart, him not enforceable in law. Regulation basically him say beginning him what daddy blame talent, which is the act no him follow. So it's a subsidiary no more to that. So yes, you can do it. And by doing that, you have to curtail the powers, which is being done here by limiting no more penalties here to a bare minimum, no, which is let me say 5,000 penalty units. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Attorney General. There are no further comments. I will now put a question. The question is that clause 32 as amended stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. Clause 32 as amended therefore stands part of the bill. Clause 33. Any member wish to comment on this clause? I put the question. Clause 33. Thank you, Honourable MP for Central Honiara.
Chairman, something, you know, the ranking of where the law has been imposing significance on a particular treatment. Like for instance, you know, you have the legislation law there and the regulation. So if you look at Section 33 on the side law personal indemnity, you will see that, you know, for the whole lot of them until F here, that the bodies or members that are established under by regulation, whereas the others here are established by law. They're all prescribed by law. I mean, under the Principal Act. Whereas other bodies here are established by regulations. You know. Why? I mean, normally, you know, those that are established under the regulations here will have a lesser treatment in terms of indemnity than those that are covered under the legislation. Yeah. Here we are treating them the same when them order injured long. Yeah. Why is that? I mean, there are some that holds their responsibility under the law more significantly. I mean, because they are established by statute as an administrative tribunal, yeah? Or the man we were under the regulations, yeah, I don't think they reach up to that level as the administrative tribunal. But Minister, I'm like try to bring more to come up. Minister. So, AG, how do you see the difference in that? Bringing all the offices and the bodies established by regulation to the same level as those that are prescribed law Principal Act. Yeah. Does it make a difference or how? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, MP for Central Honiara, for that question. It does not make any difference. In short, whoever is appointed under a body established by regulation is a regulation in law number 2. So, but it's a subsidiary law, but it's nevertheless a written law within the definition of law. Interpretation and General Provisions Act. So we apply it the same. In terms of although ranking blame say bodies by different level of ranking, which a body, statutory body under an act, and a body we have created under regulation, ranking level blame maybe by him. So that means if let's say one committee established law main act, then regulations say so working with subcommittees. So subcommittees under by him subservient to the head committee. But nevertheless, they're still doing the same function, same work, same powers or same directive where act him give him for main body for him doing, or give him a lot of subcommittees for doing. So they are covered under the say indemnity clause law here. It's been, I'm standard clause too. Every law blame me that say that every one we're doing waka under law and prescribe him, you indemnified from or any wrongdoing, which you follow. But if you go step outside, then that's when you don't do it. You don't get covered under that indemnity clause inside law, any law. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Attorney General.
Chairman, you think about it in this way. The ones that are appointed by law, they have a very high threshold for performing. Okay? They have a very high threshold to perform. some of them have to go through a very, very stringent process of appointment to you, I must say. Whereas the ones that are appointed under regulations, yeah, some are local, some are people, oh, PPK more about no money, I must say. Ah, hey, yeah, I must say. And for very specific terms too, probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and so forth. This is where you may have to raise him, the standard in the bar higher, that quality must come out from those. Sometimes what a man be order prescribed by statutorily, also a lazy too for appoint more man on down here. So when they make the mistake, low down, low there, and they take up their decision, no, ministers are we give them the cover, yeah? Just as if, they are equal, they have the same appointment in the first place, when in fact they are not, I must say. So, yeah, after another 1 year, by Indalgo, so I think you must look good load this 1 year. Minister, you mean Toroem go first time, after you come back, you look him about money worker. But you look him, there's a lot of difference, in the way that you should put a watch along with various bodies here for make sure that important policy and legislation like this work alone. I don't think, sir, and I'm sure that you support Milo Dijon, sir, that we should treat them equally. I must say. What a money, I don't mean no thing you should give them that indemnity. You should task him order by way of contract law and then subject them to a very, very tight scrutiny, I must say. What a man law regulation. We can tighten up, and provide by law the indemnity to the ones that are in charge of federal law, because some law was in European talent, ex officios, and there are very stringent rules and regulations where you apply law, extra rules too. So, I'm not thinking, but even passing go first time, let them garden him grow this time, then you mean by looking how number one. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you. And with the concurrence of the MP for Central Honiara, let me now put the question. The question is at clause 33, stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Clause 33 now stands part of the bill. Clause 34, any comments on that clause? Thank you. If there is none, I'm going to put the question. The question is at clause 34, stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Honourable members, the proceedings of the committee is interrupted, or will be interrupted and suspended until 1:30 p.m. this afternoon.